Just because scientists label a whale's death as part of something called an unusual mortality event, that doesn't mean that the whale's cause of death is a mystery. It means more whales of that species are dying than before. When a whale washes ashore, Sarah Callan is on the front lines with her team from Mystic Aquarium. These scientists are searching for clues.
We look for any wounds or any abnormalities, and then we go internally.
The scientists look at the whale's blubber, their organs. They collect tissue samples and even look at what the whale was eating at the time of its death.
For me personally, the ones I've necropsied, it's been a lot more of those very obvious blunt force trauma cases or entanglements, so it's really different dependent on the species sometimes.
These are just toys that people have given me. Got the giant squid too.
Dr. Robert Kenny has been studying whales for decades. When he was a graduate student, he worked on the cetacean and turtle assessment program.
We got funded for 3.5 years to fly surveys from North Carolina to Nova Scotia and out to the edge of the continental shelf to see what species are there, where do they live, what seasons are they around, and how many are there.
Kenny continues to track whales to this day.
The main part of my job is managing the database for the North Atlantic Right Whale Consortium. And we built that from the Cetacean and Turtle Assessment Program database. So I also manage the data from New England Aquarium's aerial surveys of the wind energy areas and other places now.
According to Kenny, the concept of unusual mortality events, or UMEs, was created by the government after hundreds of dolphins stranded in the 80s.
A UME is declared when the mortality rate for a species goes significantly above what it had been in the background.
Right now, the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration has active UMEs for the Atlantic humpback whale, the North Atlantic right whale, and the Atlantic minke whale. All three whales have the same cause listed next to their UMEs: suspected human interaction.
Too many are getting killed by people.
Some people have pointed fingers at offshore wind, but Kenny says that's not the culprit. While pile driving to install offshore wind turbines can cause ear damage to whales, there are mitigation measures in place, and whales are smart enough to swim away.
There are ways to make the noise less, bubble curtains around the pile driving site. There are surveys in advance. There are protected species observers to make sure that there aren't any whales close by when they start.
Both Ørsted and South Coast Wind confirmed to 12 News that they use multiple forms of mitigation efforts, including double bubble curtains and observers. When the turbines are operational, Kenny said the sound is much quieter.
It's undetectable above background noise.
While there is still more research to be done surrounding offshore wind, there are a lot of factors that we know are killing whales.
So for humpback whales, it's a whole combination of things. They've all been either entanglement in fishing gear or struck by ships. For minke whales, it's a mix of things. It's a mix of human impacts like those, plus infectious disease.
Kenny says these problems are affecting the endangered right whales too.
About 85% of all right whales have been entangled at least once.
And some years are worse than others.
So what happened in 2017 was the whales couldn't find their right feeding grounds in the Gulf of Maine, and they went up to the Gulf of St. Lawrence. And in the Gulf of St. Lawrence, there is a fishery for snow crab that uses really heavy gear and thick rope.
12 North Atlantic right whales died in the Gulf of St. Lawrence that year. But why were the whales there in the first place? Scott Olszewski with the Rhode Island Department of Environmental Management tracks what species are in the ocean state's waters. According to Olszewski, it's gotten harder to predict the whales' movements.
We really don't know where they're going to be. They're not following their historic patterns.
The DEM says its data shows these waters are both rising and warming, triggering changes.
We are seeing sort of an increase in available food items for them, and that's probably bringing them closer, and there's more people out on the ocean.
These chain reactions can have consequences.
One of the things that we've noticed is their food source has shifted due to climate change, and with that they've obviously followed their food source, but that can put them in places that are not normally used to seeing them, so fisheries haven't adapted through things like weak lines.
In the wake of the whales' deaths in the Gulf of St. Lawrence, the Canadian government introduced new safeguards, including speed restrictions in certain areas. The DEM is also working to keep whales safe, even developing a weaker fishing line and giving it to local fishermen for free.
In other words, we're giving you this to become compliant. It's not going to cost you anything.
Callan is hoping for a brighter future for both the whales and all the other species in our waters.
I think people don't think that their little efforts are going to make a big difference, but it really, truly does. It's so critical and important to work towards saving them, so generations in the future are able to see them and enjoy them as well.
You can learn more about how to protect our oceans and everything in them right now on WPRI.com. In Jamestown, I'm Leah Crowley, 12 News.